Yeah, my name is Lyrik, and I'm about that business. I'm walking in my purpose, my destiny I'm living. Got these devils and these demons mad at me, they live it. Cause they thought they was gon' stop the chick, but she stay winning. Yeah, that's why I always say it's God for me. Cause ain't no demons or no devils ever stopping me. And you can try, but ain't no weapon never prospering. You know I got my back, watch me like TMT. I grip, I rock, and I slay. I grip, I rock, and I slay.
What up, though? It's your girl, Miss Lyrik, aka the Beautiful Beast, and I am super excited to welcome you to Spittin with Miss Lyrik, our Women Making History series. Like, we are celebrating our strong friends, and I am sitting on the couch with a woman that's definitely making history out here in these streets. Black, beautiful, and a creative filmmaker. Let the people know who you are and what you do, girl.
Well, Lyrik, thank you so much for having me. My name is Kiandra Parks, and I'm a filmmaker. I'm originally from Delaware. I got my master's degree at New York University. I studied under Spike Lee. I won the coveted Spike Lee Production Fellowship, and I made my thesis film. It's called Black Girl in Paris, and it broadcast on HBO, and it currently lives on Amazon Prime. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on Amazon Prime. It's Black Girl in Paris.
Yes, listen, that's amazing, and I'm definitely going to watch it. We're gonna have to have us a little watch party.
Exactly.
Okay, let's have a watch party.
Because people always have so many questions for me after they watch the film. First of all, I shot it on location in Paris.
Wow.
So that was a whole experience within itself. Secondly, I shot it on 35mm film. So like I went all out. I mean, we're talking NYU grad film school. Spike Lee was helping me. He helped me get like the film. He helped me get, some money that I needed to make the film.
Wow.
And then we're talking about HBO. Like literally my friends in LA would call me like, girl, your film is on HBO. I'm like, okay, yeah, girl. So
them real friends though.
Right. No, it was like major for me. So right now, I'm working on my next project. Mm-hmm. So I made Black Girl in Paris back in 2012.
Okay.
And at the time, I had a daughter, and she was 8 years old, and I really could not take the time to focus on my career like I wanted to. Mm-hmm. All of my friends, they went out to LA. They're doing big things right now. I got one friend, he just directed One Love, the Bob Marley biopic.
Oh man,
and
that's a good one.
Before that, he did the Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father's King Richard.
Yes.
He did that.
That
so
one.
My friends like out in LA, I got another friend, Stephen Capel Jr. He just did Transformers a couple of years ago. We started at the same place. But I had a kid, you know what I mean? So I had to come back home, raise my daughter, but my daughter just went to college. So now it's time for me to get back out there, get into my film career, and make my next film.
Okay.
So that's what I'm working on
all
right now, Lyrik.
First of all, we're going to back this thing up about your daughter just graduated college. You look like you just barely got out of college.
Oh
okay,
God,
number
girl,
one.
Black don't crack. Black don't crack. But yeah, I just sent my daughter off to college. She is at North Carolina Central University. She is studying nursing, so I am so very proud of her.
Absolutely.
In fact, this is what she did. She's taking a class right now called Arts and Humanities, and they're watching all these films and talking about all these artist stuff. So she told her professor, she said, my mom is a filmmaker.
Yes.
And I would love her to come into our class so she can screen her film. Okay. So next month, I'm going down to North Carolina Central, and I'm going to screen my film for her classmates. It'll be the first time that she sees my film with her peers.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that.
Listen, plug your mama, daughter.
Exactly. And it's just nice because to her, I'm mom.
Right.
But seeing my film and seeing it with her peers, it's like, oh, my mom is an artist. She's a filmmaker. Like, it hit different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So, just, talking to you from being a mother, because I have a 6-year-old now, and she's going with me all the way.
Girl,
so,
I know.
But it's been an adjustment, right? It's an adjustment for sure. So one of those things I would like for you to just talk to mothers right now that, that have the dreams, that's aspiring to do these things. Just
let me tell you something. I'm gonna talk directly to the mothers out there. When I made my film, I took my daughter to Paris with me. So when she was 6 years old, 7 years old, we were living in Paris. I was making my film. I was following my dreams. But I had to put my dream on hold because the one thing my daughter said to me, she was like, Mom, this is great. You know, we were living in New York City. We had lived in Paris. She's like, I just want to go home. I want to be with my dad. I want to be with my friends. Yeah. I just want to go home. So I took a break from my career because when you have kids, you can't put them on the back burner.
Absolutely.
It don't work that way.
Absolutely
You know
not.
what I mean? Like it would have happened if I went to LA, had a wonderful career, and my daughter would have suffered. You know what I mean? So I was like, no, I'm just going to wait. I'm patient. I'm going to wait. I'm going to put her through high school, put her through college, and then I'm going to go with my career. Let me tell you something. When I started wanting to make films, I was a senior in college. From the time I graduated from college to the time I made my film, 12 years went by. 12 years went by where I had to hold on to my dream. And I said, I don't care what else. 12 years. 12 years. I don't care what else I do. I'm going to make this film.
The woman.
And I made that film. And it got on HBO, and it's on HBO Prime. I mean, Amazon Prime right now. So don't give up on your dream.
Absolutely.
Don't rush thinking that you got to do it right now, that it has to be right now. You will always be an artist. You will always. Spike Lee gave me the best advice anybody could ever give. I went to him and I was all sad and I was like, you know, I don't get to go to LA. I got to go home and be a mom. And Spike said to me, you will always be a filmmaker. He said, you will, for the rest of your life, you will be a filmmaker. But right now, you got to be mom.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? You're right. And so what I did was the whole time I had my daughter, I was focusing on her, but I was writing.
Yes.
I was writing. I was getting my back. I was staying sharp. I was writing. So now that my daughter is going off to college, I'm ready. I got about 5, 6 projects that I'm ready to jump right into. And in fact, I want to tell you about my next project, if that's okay.
Can I take a quick break?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we got to make sure that they get all this information. Listen, y'all, I know y'all into it like me. Take them a break. We'll be right back after these messages. Come on back here with this info.
I got my back, watch me like TMZ. I rip, I rock, and I slay. I rip, I rock, and I slay.
Baby, listen, you never let a man put his hands on you. Do you hear me, baby?
Yeah.
Do you hear me? You gotta get them before they get you.
I'm gonna keep my eye on him, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch him.
Definitely keep your eye on him, honey. You better get him before he gets you.
Yeah.
I was thinking go card and hold my eye.
Can you put your phone down? Can you put your phone down? Oh my God! Why do you keep picking up your phone? I'm sorry. What the
Welcome back to Spittin' with Miss Lyrik, hosted by your girl, Miss Lyrik, aka the Beautiful Beast. And we're going to get right back into this amazing interview, sis. Go ahead and let them know.
So, first of all, I like your idea. Let's do a watch party.
Yes.
Because I want to bring Black Girl in Paris. I want to bring a new audience to Black Girl in Paris. And so we can have the discussion. That's really what I want to do. But I also want to tell you about my next film that I'm making. Because I'm so excited about this film. Like, I'm hyped for this film, okay? So I am making a vampire film. Okay, so let me tell you how that happened, because I'm not even a vampire person. But what happened was, I watched this film. It was called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. And it was a vampire film, and it was about this, it's a female filmmaker, and she's Iranian. And she made this film about an Iranian female filmmaker in Iran. And so it's beautiful. It's striking. Like if you see this film, it's like, it is so visually striking.
Like beautiful.
It's just beautiful. And she shot it. I had never seen someone from another culture, because when you say vampire, you think Eastern European, you think Dracula, you think white people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think Iranian. You don't think like Black people. You know what I mean? But this young woman, she took this film. She was an Iranian filmmaker, and it was completely in Farsi. So it wasn't English at all. It was another language. And she appropriated the vampire genre, but she brought it into the Iranian culture.
Wow.
And I had never seen that done before. I was like, wait a minute. Black women need something like this. I was like, we need a Black female vampire story.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I started writing. And so in my story, it's about day-walking, half-breed African vampires. It gets into African folklore. It's just crazy. It's called Love Sucks.
Love Sucks.
So
that's a cute name,
right?
Right?
Play on words. But I started writing about a year ago. I had this idea in my mind for like 10 years. And I was just thinking about it. And a producer friend of mine said, well, Kiandra, you need to start writing if you want this, if you want this film to come to life. And like I said, I'm not a vampire person. I'm not into vampires at all. What I wanted to do was, I wanted to bring people that are not in the vampire genre into the vampire genre. And I wanted to bring Black culture into the vampire genre. So when we start with our vampire, he locked up. Girl, he in jail.
He in jail?
That's how it starts. That's how it starts. So it's like, appropriating Black culture into a genre that we don't normally see ourselves in. I'm all about representation. And I think Black genre and Black, culture can go anywhere, including the vampire genre. So I wanted to spin it on its head and kind of do something with the genre that hasn't been done before. And I think I hit the mark. You know what I mean?
First of all, that's dope. Is this the project that you're talking about?
Yes.
Everybody?
This is the project. So I'm looking for actors. I'm casting actors. If you've ever worked on a film before and you want to work on a film, I'm located in Delaware. You can visit my website at blackgirlproductions.com. There will be the casting. There will also be opportunities to work on the film. And specifically, I really want to get with youth. I really want to start working with youth. I'm offering some youth filmmaking classes this summer because when I was in high school, I never thought that I was going to be a filmmaker.
Right.
Like, I never thought that would be the trajectory of my career. In fact, I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Correct.
You know what I mean? When you think about filmmaking, it is a white boys club. You know what I mean? You don't really see a lot of Black women in filmmaking. So I really want to bring it to youth. And I want to show them that there are opportunities for jobs in film. There are opportunities to be a writer for film.
Yes.
There is opportunities to be behind the camera in film, and expose them to what I was exposed to, but I didn't get exposed to until I went to NYU grad film school.
Right.
So that's really important.
That's
to me.
big.
That's
Giving
really
back.
Important to me. Yeah.
And you definitely got me, and we're on this campaign with you to help you recruit as many.
Love sucks. Yes.
Let's
if you're
go.
interested in auditioning for the film or working behind the scenes on the film, this is going to be a grassroots crowdfunding initiative that I'm doing. And, you know, the vampire genre is one that you can make fairly cheaply.
Yes.
It's not a big budget film. It's not like an action-packed drama. You know, you can really just tell a good story and tell the film that way. So that's what I'm trying to do with this film. I just want to do it. I want it to be my calling card. I'm doing some really visually interesting things. I'm using some locations in Delaware that are historic and kind of lend itself to that sort of scary vampire genre. So
we're going to cut up.
Yeah, I'm ready, girl.
We're going to cut up. Listen, we're going to come back and we're going to keep everybody abreast to what's going on with this amazing project. Y'all know it's collaboration over competition. You definitely got me.
Amen.
We'll be right back after these messages. Go grab some popcorn, but don't take long. We'll be right back.
I grip, I rock, and I slay. I grip, I rock, and I slay.
Welcome back to Spittin' with Miss Lyrik, hosted by your girl, Miss Lyrik, aka the Beautiful Beast. And we are celebrating women making history. Of course, this is not a woman sitting with me. This is another man. You know, we have launched our He-Powerment, and we have our brothers coming that support women. So we're going to sit on this couch and chop it up with my brother King. What's going on, bro?
I'm just blessed to be here. I'm honored to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm honored to have you here.
Absolutely.
Listen, can you tell my viewers, now listen, I know they know who you are, but some people just might not know. So can you tell them who you are and what it is that you do?
I do a lot, actually. I don't even know where to start at, but the first thing came to my mind was I'm an entertainer. I'm a promoter. I remember back when I first did my first show back in 1988. It was Tough Crew, my part of town in Philly. And, that was the beginning.
Okay.
That was the beginning of where I'm at now, where I have my own mortgage company. I'm a teacher. I have 2 degrees. I'm actually getting ready to get my doctorate degree as a physical therapist. Most important, I'm a husband and I'm a father.
Yes.
So, and I have 2 daughters. So this means a lot to me to talk to you about women, empowering women, because my girls are doing their thing. She's in school to be a doctor. She's in her first year at University of Pennsylvania. I'm very proud of Tori. And then my other daughter is Kristen. She's a mother. She lives in Vegas. I have 3 grandchildren from her.
Okay.
And I'm honored, just to be, in a position to be in their life and try to support them in what they do.
That's beautiful. That's that generational wealth that's building, that's teaching. So I salute your daughters. You know what I mean?
Amen.
That's
Amen.
dope, because I'm definitely a daddy's girl. Okay,
yes,
so
yes,
I
yes,
understand.
Yes.
I'm gonna hook up with your daughter when I go back to Vegas too.
Please,
you know what I mean?
please do. But the one that's here, Tori, she's going to school to be a dermatologist. So once we get an opportunity, I'll give you her website. You can go online. She got all kinds of skin products. She's doing her thing.
Listen.
And I'm excited for her.
Yes.
Because she watched me hustle.
Okay.
When she was a kid, and she told me when she was 8 years old, she said, "Dad, I'm gonna be a doctor." You know what I mean? And it's powerful to see how serious she is. She was the president of the University of Delaware for the student body when she graduated. I thought she was going straight to get her master's degree, but she actually went and took the CATS test and scored in the top 5%, which allowed her to go straight to med school.
Wow.
So it's just honored, to be able to see your kids do better, because any father want to see their children do better.
Absolutely.
So the opportunity is just there, and it's not just her. I want to see women empower to do their thing. And last week was very powerful for me because I actually was invited to a women's group for women developers.
In real estate?
Yeah, in real estate.
Wow.
And this particular person, I look at her like a little sister, and just me knowing what she went through was very, very touching. Knowing that, and I know she wouldn't have a problem me saying anything about it because she told people that she didn't even know in the room, never say you can't do it.
Never say
you know. And she said, I had a child, I got divorced, and I said, what am I going to do now? And I never forget, I was literally sitting there watching her talk, and I'm not an emotional guy, but it was really getting me emotional because my mom was a single mother. So I'm listening to her tell me she has a son, and she's telling all these other women in here she has a son, and she was like, what am I going to do? Me and her father's not together, I'm divorced, and she said, I'm going to go get my real estate license.
Okay.
So she went and got a real estate license, she passed the test, she said she went straight to her grandmother, because she was very close to her grandmother, she's no longer living, and said, Mama, I graduated. And Mama said, what are you going to do now?
What are you going to do?
She said, what are you going to do now? And she said that stayed with her through all these years of her being in the real estate business. And she said now she's a developer. She's building properties from the ground up.
That's big.
And she said no one never thought because of her situation she could do it. And she lives in Hockessin. She's been living there for years.
Wow.
By herself, and she's doing her thing. And for me to hear her talk about how she was expressing what she's been doing and how she's doing it, and then seeing all these other women get up and say, I just did 50 units in Harrisburg and I got $80,000 a piece for each one. That was her profit that she got from 50 units.
Yes.
And I'm a math guy. So nobody can tell me. I know what 80,000 and 50 is. That's $3 million.
You better do it
all day long, right?
You better.
So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, $4 million, excuse me, right? And I'm saying to myself, this woman made $4 million off her first project she built. And she's sitting there and she's saying, that was my first one. Now she's done 6 and 7 already. Wow. One of these women. And I'm sitting here and I'm blown away because I'm sitting here and I'm watching women. I said, I got to step my game up. I said, I got to step my game up, and I'm a mortgage broker, So I had an opportunity to sit here with these women for one event, and then I went over to another event. There was other women there down in PA and out there by Upper Darby, and I met other women that's builders. Wow. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is crazy. I'm in front of about 300 women builders, and they building from Delaware to Pennsylvania and Jersey, and they talking about they go down south. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking, and they say, hey, we want to empower not just us, but other women. And it wasn't just African Americans in there, it was Hispanics in there. But for her to sit here and set up a meeting where all women can get together, you know what I mean, and come together and help each other, I thought that was so powerful.
Truly.
And
collaboration.
Collaborating. And I had an opportunity to be there and take part of it. And she walked up to me. It was a few men that she invited there. And I was thankful that she felt that much about me to invite me. And she said, King, I always looked at you. You was always a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? You never disrespect no women. I've been knowing you for about 12, 13 years. And when we go to events, you always was to yourself, but you always was about business. And she would come out to a lot of my entertainment shows.
Okay.
She would come out to my comedy shows. She would come out to any of my shows I've done on the R&B stage, whether it was Raheem Devine, whether it was Christopher Williams, whether if it was Drew Hill. She would always come with her girlfriends and support me. So I was blessed to be able, and she didn't believe I was going to make it, because from where I was at to where she was at, it was an hour-and-a-half ride.
Okay.
And it seemed like as I was driving, everything was trying to stop me from getting there. But I said, I gotta be there for her.
Yes.
Because she always supported me.
Yes.
And that's how I feel, and that's how I've always been. So when I had this call came in and asked me to be here today,
yes,
Me and my wife just got finished celebrating our anniversary.
Congratulations.
We were up in New York, and your hubby said, King, I need you, man, you know, and I want to give him a shout out because for him to do what he did for us when I did my show in front of probably about 4,000 people when I had Sinbad years ago, and that's when I met him. And, you know, that meant a lot to me, you know, because I've always been a person I want to give back. And that's how I feel about what we're doing with the women. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman. Absolutely. And I heard Cat Williams say that yesterday. He said, listen, if it wasn't that I had the opportunity that I had, he said, I was the tallest person in the house. And I kind of laughed when he said that. He said, my mom is 5'1", my dad's 5'3", I'm 5'5". You know, but he constantly said, if it wasn't, and he had women that were opening up for him. Majority of the women that opened up for him at the Barclays Center were women.
Yes.
And he said, you know, we need to support our black women. And that meant a lot to me because people sometimes don't know how hard it is for a black woman, especially when they're a single mother.
Yes.
And I watched my mom do the things she did to become a nurse. You know, I lived in an area where it wasn't good at all. You know, I've seen people get murdered, you know, where I lived at in North Philly and Philadelphia. So it was hard, you know, when I would see her go to work and come home when the sun was down, and I had to play sports. So I had to learn how to play sports because we didn't have the money at that time to be able to go to camps. So, you know, and I'm glad I did because it allowed me to learn how important it is to respect a woman. My wife will tell you, I don't like people around me that curse at women. She knows that gets me really upset. You know what I mean? Because I just think the respect, you know what I mean? You have, and I taught my son this, if you got to be out here talking all crazy, you don't need to be with that person.
Absolutely.
You know, and I embed that in my daughters. You know, if that man don't want to come and see me or talk to me, he ain't for you.
Come on.
He is not for you. You know what I mean? Because if you want to date my daughter, you should have respect for me and want to talk to me. Because when I dated your mom, her parents, her dad, her mother knew who I was.
Right.
You know, and I was telling my wife this as we were coming down. I said, even with everything that's going on in the world today, I still believe this is the way it should be done, and this is biblical, but people do what they want to do, but the integrity piece means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
So when I go, if I say I'm going to do something, even if I don't want to do it, but I said it, I got to do it.
It's mandatory.
I have to do it. And there's been times I said, oh no, I don't believe I just said that, but I wanted to keep my word.
Right.
You know what I mean? So me going to her event, it really blessed me because it made me say, you know what? I got to step my game up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Even though I'm a hard worker, I'm a grinder, I got a lot of things going on, but I said to see these black women, and only reason why I'm saying black women, when I see these black women out here building properties,
yes,
you know, and they're making a difference in the community.
Come on now.
You know what I mean? That to me is worth more than gold. Anything,
legacy.
That's a legacy because now you got people, you got women coming in and building. And when I heard Kansas, shout out to Kansas, say she put her helmet on, her construction helmet on, and was out there telling the guys what to do, it spoke so much volume about our women. So, you know, I want to give a shout out. You know, I'm honored to be here today.
And I'm honored to have you. Now, so this is the part where you got to give the ladies some advice, right? So we're talking, because we got a heart for the single mom. So this looks like we're talking to mommies on this episode, right? So can you give women that may feel that this is it, I'm left by myself, I'm divorced, I'm devastated, I don't know how I'm going to do it. They might not have a daddy. They might not have a brother. They might not have a king in their life. So I'm going to give you this moment to give them some real spit.
You know, I got to think about my mother. And because she was my foundation. Mom was a hard worker. She never quit. Never quit. And she always told me, and I don't know how many people are biblically, they read the Bible, I don't know. But she gave me 2 scriptures, and this is what I would give any woman. I talk to my wife about this all the time. One of them is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in God with all your heart, lean not to thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. If you trust God, God will never let you down. And I'm a testimony to that, because even when you go astray, God will always bring you back in if you believe. So I would tell the women today, no matter what you went through, I don't care what it looked like, just believe. And the other scripture that was always, and this one of the scriptures that I have underneath my mortgage company, all things are possible if you just believe. You gotta believe. That's major. You believe that you go to work in the morning, right?
Yep.
And if you get paid every week, right? Or you get paid every 2 weeks, you believe in that when you go to work, you're going to get paid at the end of the week. You don't know the owner. You don't know what's in his bank account. But you believing that when you're supposed to get paid every week, you're going to get paid every week. So if you're going to believe in a human being,
come on now,
how can you not believe in God? So what I'm saying to you, believe that you're going to make it. I don't care. Don't think that I didn't go through rough and uphills and downhills and valleys with my business. My wife will tell you, yes, I have. But guess what I did? I kept on believing in God.
Yes.
I kept believing God. And I would tell the women, if you don't, I don't care what nobody tell you, trust God. If you trust God and you trying to live right, a way is going to be made. A way is going to be made. And that's what I would give to y'all today. And if y'all ask me this 30 years later, I will tell you the same thing I'm saying today. Trust God, and he'll work it out.
Yes, yes, yes. And if they wanted to follow you, get connected with your businesses or anything like that, can you let them know how they could do that as
Absolutely.
well?
You can call me at 1-800-900-6808. That's 1-800-900-6808. You can leave a text message, you can leave a voice message, or you can go to my email address, which is king@oldcitycapitalllc.com. That's king@oldcitycapitalllc.com. Follow me there. I respond to everybody. It may not be the same day, but if you send me a text message, when you leave me a message, I will respond back to you in a timely fashion. But I love what you asked me. What would I tell you? Trust God.
Trust God.
I can't say nothing else, because I mean that's how God has blessed me. And like I was telling you before we even started, I said people just keep calling me because they trust me. The integrity piece. I'm getting calls while I'm here asking me to be a part of things because they trust me. And they don't need me, but they feel they need me because of the integrity piece. And they know I've been in the business long, but I know how to treat people. I treat people the way I want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Trust God. Trust God.
I got to bring you, listen.
Trust God.
I got to bring you back.
Trust God.
I got to bring you back. You coming?
Yes,
you promise?
I promise you.
All right now.
I'll give you my word.
I had to put that on my list. That's the first scripture that I learned. So we are so in alignment, y'all. Okay.
But see, that's how God do things. God, that's how he does things. This is the first time I met you, and God put that scripture on my heart, and you got it on your arm.
That's it.
So, I mean, everything, I'm telling you, women, everything you go through is to make you better. Did you hear what I said?
Come on now.
Everything you go through. You may say, why am I going through this? It's a reason why you're going through it. Don't look at the reason why you're going through it. Look at why God is taking you through this, because it's a purpose. Mm-hmm. Everything's a purpose we do in life. Everything is a purpose. Now it's up to us, because God gives us the opportunity to make this something good. Yeah. That's what I would tell you. Keep your purpose. Trust God.
Listen, that's a real king right there. I'm going to have to just leave it like that. We're going to title this episode, Trust God. All right? It's your girl, Miss Lyrik, aka the Beautiful Beast. It's been real. Make sure that you guys tune in to the Strong Friends campaign, where we're bringing more people with strong stories to help motivate you and keep you empowered during these times. All right? I'll see you next time. Peace.
I got my back, watch me like TMZ. I grip, I rock, and I slay. I grip, I rock, and I slay.